Good morning and welcome to the program Issues and Events. Issues and Events coming to you on Liberty Radio 91.7. This morning we're looking at mass atrocities and consequences on our democracy. Now, we do know that conflicts are all over the place, and how we manage these conflicts a big issue. And so we'll be talking about that, and we know that 2019 is around the corner, and of course we do know that as we prepare for elections, issues of conflict begin to show face. And of course, now that we are, so to say, some people say, peaceful times, we're still seeing some fragments of conflicts showing face, border conflicts and conflicts on religion, that of ethnicity, all of them showing face. But this could have consequences on our democracy. And I guess this morning is Lawrence Obewe. Lawrence Obewe is a public affairs commentator, and he'll be sharing thoughts with us this morning. My colleague Abdulaziz Kadri Ahmed already with me in the studios here, and of course on now we connect this with the people we're all here. Abdulaziz, good morning, and so we'll just start with you. We'll do a banter here.
Yes, this is doing good morning. Talking about conflict, yesterday we talked about the conflict in the PDP, especially among the two factions. And incidentally, His Excellency Senator Ahmed Makarfi, who is just in our backyard, out to be here with us. But as a way of reaction, he sent in a text message based on the discussion we had yesterday. At least of your hearing, we felt maybe the listeners should hear his own side. Senator Ahmed Makarfi said, "I'm sure you will see in some dailies today that we never asked our members to defect to another party, but that any state that feels it will be disenfranchised should take any decision it considers appropriate. For example, some have gone to court." That was the reaction from Senator Ahmed Muhammad Makarfi on the issues we raised yesterday.
Yeah. So that puts speed to it. It clears it all that the senator never said that
never asked his
supporters to defect to other
political parties. But Mr. Tonyo, I mean, it would be nice to have the senator in the studio on the TV for people to hear from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
I would say.
We really look for having Senator to be with us in the studios, and we'll get to do that. All right. Okay. So, looking at mass atrocities and the consequences on our democracy, and where we find ourselves today, that agitations all over, and some of these things are not settled on the table, and dialogue is not put in process. But what we do have is that conflicts and how they erupt, and in the form of eruption, lives are lost, properties are lost, and consequences of that in nation building too. Lawrence Obewe is something that a nation of over 200 million people coming from different backgrounds, and of course sharing different political thoughts, and of course religions and their ethnicity and all of that. So yeah, strange bedfellows that have come together, forming this entity called Nigeria. And as we move on with our democracy, we see conflicts here and there, and we see that these conflicts are really taking a toll on development of Nigeria. But looking at it, when we talk about mass atrocities, what are the things we're looking at here?
Good morning, listeners. You know, when you talk of mass atrocities, you are talking about crimes that are considered to be against humanity. For instance, you go to a village and try to wipe everybody out. Or maybe you decide that, okay, these people here are houses, let's just eliminate them. So the international community, under the umbrella of the UN, came together and said there are actions that people should not take. And once they are taken, they are considered to be mass atrocities. One of them is genocide. You know what genocide is? When a group of people decide to wipe them out. Then you have ethnicity, what they call you look at an ethnic background and say whether by ethnic identification or by religion and say you're not supposed to be here, let's remove you. Or you look at vulnerable people who cannot defend themselves, like children, like the Chibok girls. You go and carry all of them, you maltreat them. Is it in form of rape? Is it in form of turning them to child labor? So these are the things that the UN categorically grouped and said these are mass atrocities, and anyone who's caught doing it is supposed to be charged for those crimes. Unfortunately, in our times, we've not seen that happens. And you know, a society goes by action and reaction. So when 1-2 people does the same thing, commit the same crime, and nobody is holding them accountable, there is a likelihood that it will continue to spread over time. And I think that's what we are generally witnessing in Nigeria today. Yes, and you cannot, if you are building a growing democracy, it is a dangerous signal. You can't take it away. It's a completely dangerous signal. Because it happens here, and nobody is taking action.
No, but when people feel shortchanged,
yes,
you know, there are bound to be reactions. When government says that, of course, we are in a democracy, and the people expect the dividends of democracy must come to them. And yet, they see that they are being shortchanged, either by their representatives or by, you know, the state or government, which has not come to them. Is it not what to expect that the people, there will be agitations, and of course agitations that could lead into people taking, you know, different reactions to government policies?
You are very correct. You are absolutely correct on that. You know that in a civil society, except when you are in a jungle, that's where you take laws into your hands and decide to look for redress your own way. Normally in a civilized world, there are avenues. But again, you made a serious point. You have bad governance. There's already a sharp pointer to the breakdown of law and order. If you look at the biggest book and the most intellectual book I read, it's called Big Violence. And the author started by saying that violence is not somebody cutting people's head. Violence starts when you are giving money to build hospital and you are not building the hospital, and people are dying as a result of lack of medical equipment. You are giving money to build schools. If you are not building the school, you turn out illiterates that can be manipulated by the society. That's where really violence starts. The cutting of hair becomes consequences of the violence. So, but in our today's world, what we regard as violence is when you cut off my hair. It has background. And in these mass atrocities, there is nothing like spontaneous reaction. No, there are always indicators showing that today, tomorrow, or next, that things are going to get out of hand. Like the last time I was in your city, I told you about the United Nations Human Index that gives you a projection of how people live their life. Before the advent of Boko Haram, there were already indicators that in that region, people are not going to school. In that region, health facilities are not going on. In that region, poverty is growing. So it was only a matter of time. But today they will tell you, you see people who go and kill, they say, somebody offended me and it was just a spontaneous. There is nothing, you see the indicators going. So, but no, as policy makers, it's not just sit down and make policy. There is something you call policy impact analysis. When you make a policy, you analyze the impact. That tells you whether the policy you are making is right or wrong, whether it needs adjustment. So, all these things are precursor to the real mass atrocities we are talking about. If, for instance, you kill in my village and nothing happens to you, you've been burdened to go and kill in Ondunat village. And if nothing happens to you again, you've been, and the society has institutions that are supposed to checkmate. What we pray is not that we bring perpetrators to book. What we pray in a society is that we don't have any need to have perpetrators. So, and that's where your intelligence comes into play. That's where your institutions comes into play. But when they are broken down, which is what you talk about, which is bad governance, when these institutions can no longer protect the ordinary life they are supposed to protect, it's only a matter of time before you begin to see some of these things.
We're still talking about, I have to really put this one in. We see a situation now, talking about the people that have, you know, gone out to say, these are the people who want to represent us. I'm talking about the electorate.
Yes.
And we now see a trend in Nigeria that the people are, you know, really reacting to how their representatives have performed.
Yes.
So much so that they are beginning to have, you know, sachet water being thrown at them, you know, booze going all out. Are these indicators too that could lead to this violence that we're
absolutely. If nothing is done, mark it today, you will see a place where you wake up one day and say that the people of this constituency went and killed this their representative.
We don't want that one.
We pray that it doesn't. And Nigeria is a too much praying nation. We should be a too much action nation. We should leave prayers. We should pray and back it up with actions. You understand? If I send a representative and he's not doing anything, and you know the danger in our democracy is the fact that the representative will not be doing anything. But if you go to his immediate environment, he's doing some physical things that people could see. And that is an indicator that his own people are endangered. Because now he goes about surrounding himself with thugs, political police and all that, and security men. But his people are not. And when the other group see that something is happening there, and this guy is supposed to be representing us, to hit the representative, they will hit his community. But people are not sitting down to make this analysis. We only churn out policies. We only look at, I have advocated, I don't even see a situation where you have a house packed with 360 politicians. It doesn't make sense. We can still devise a way of, we can make, for instance, the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, we make it 180 politicians, 180 professional and civil society groups. So it will even affect the quality of laws. And don't forget that these mass atrocities, some of them are supposed to be checkmated by laws made by our legislators. Some of the punishments are supposed to be meted out by the judiciary. The executive is supposed to be the ones controlling the police and the military architecture to make sure that these things don't happen. So you see that they are all intertwined. So once you have breakdown, you have loss of trust. People can no longer trust that this person is coming. You saw the Southern Kaduna this thing, that it got to a place where people were now looking for how to seek for self-help. That's a precursor for another genocide. We saw in Odi, in Bayelsa, we saw in Zapibiam, we saw in Northeast, we saw the one with Biafran. We are seeing Southern Kaduna. We saw the Jos crisis, the problem in Jos. And who knows where next? But the problem is that we are still playing politics. Have we sat down to say, hey, why is this happening? What do we do to make sure that it doesn't happen in future? That's why I said we shouldn't be praying to carry perpetrators. We should work hard to make sure that these things stop happening in our society.
Mr. Mowere, in conflict management and resolution,
yes,
normally the early warning signal.
Yes.
Why do you think in our climes we don't take these early warning signals serious?
Now, early warning is the real key in conflict resolution and management. Because as I said, there is no one that they will tell you is spontaneous. There is nothing spontaneous. You could see it. For instance, if somebody comes and there is an agreement, a disagreement between land space, this is my cow is supposed to graze here, this is my farming, and they quarrel, somebody slaps another person. There should be a signal. I'll be happy that he will still want to make a point. You understand? So it's a complicated thing in Nigeria. And let me give you an instance why I say it's a complicated thing. If you look at the Chibok story, the first thing you will hear is that 2-3 days before the actual kidnap, they knew that there was going to be an invasion of the Chibok communities. And the security forces were informed. Was anything done? That's an early warning. But it wasn't taken seriously. So that will now put question on the preparedness of even the people that are supposed to be protecting us to do that. Because even if you don't believe, you put action to make sure that, okay, if it happens, let it happen. But to just wait there, this is another rumor. In security management, you are supposed to analyze every piece of information. And while you are analyzing, you are supposed to put a structure in place to make sure that even if you analyze, because it's human being analyzing, you can be wrong, you can be right. So even if your analyses are wrong and you are you don't want to be caught unawares or taken by surprise. So it's a mixed thing. Sometimes we see the early warnings. Sometimes we don't take it serious. Sometimes people withhold information. Two communities are fighting. Everybody keeps it to themselves. And what do? This one regroups, this one regroups. They are waiting for the confrontation. Meanwhile, they are supposed to alert. And now you ask, what is our traditional rulers doing? We have always said that there are no clear-cut roles given to traditional rulers. If you give traditional rulers clear-cut roles, you can actually hold them directly accountable for some of these things. Spell it out in the Constitution. We have destroyed the years by bringing the local government, which today now is almost non-existent. But we should look for a way to manage it, because conflict can destroy any society. We saw it in Rwanda. We saw it in Serbia. There are examples of where conflicts have destroyed. Why are we waiting until it destroys Nigeria before we take it serious? It's a big cause.
Don't worry, that is one of the challenges we are having. But like the Chinese will say, conflict is inevitable.
Yes.
You can't do without conflict. But what we learn from the conflict is what matters. In our climb, we see decline in reward and punishment.
Yes.
Why do you think that is so?
Okay, I said that there are structures. You have the legislatures who are supposed to make laws. What are the laws they are making? You have the judiciary who are supposed to be punishing offenders. Are they doing that? There are still Boko Haram cases. In fact, before this release, I'm sure there were some that were supposed to have been executed. But once you have that delay in the judiciary process, a lot of things, and as you said, it's inevitable to have conflict. For instance, people migrate. 50 people that used to share 1 hectare of land in 2014. Those 50 people today will be like 100 people. But the land has not expanded. It's still 1 hectare. So the portion that each one of them gets shrinks. So what do? Some will want to fight the other ones to take their own. Some will want to fight the other ones to take their own. Why the other ones will want to migrate? And if you are migrating, you are going to another place who's also struggling for space. So you see that even if you stay, there will be conflict. If you move, if the migration happens, there will be. So conflict is inevitable. It's there. It's how you manage it. And even in planning, I have never seen our budget. Every time I look at the budget, one of the things that I miss is the narrative. The narratives to tell you that, okay, we are doing this because we are envisaging population growth here. We are envisaging migration towards. We don't have those things. They will just tell you, I'll build road, I will build a plane. No. You can build all these hospitals and there is nobody alive to stay in them. You need to first of all make sure that the continuous survival of your nation is intact. And it's in planning. If you don't plan it, there is no magic. The people that Rwanda today is bouncing back. Even if you check their GDP, sometimes as at today is greater than our own. It's planning. And at a time you have to come out and say, hey, sit down. Everybody sit down, let's talk about this. After talking, you say, what do we do? You chat for a way forward. But our own, we play politics. The first thing you read this morning was about PDP. Is it new and old PDP? The two factions in PDP. You understand? Then you have one part of the PDP now in APC. So it means that the politics goes round. Nobody talks about the issues in Nigeria. What we talk about is politics. It's either our president is sick, can somebody actually not fall sick?
So let's look at the traditional institution now. That is one area where a lot of Nigerians have a bit of interest. You made mention earlier on that the traditional rulers have no clear-cut assignment. Now, if we have a situation where these persons are brought into play, wouldn't that make a case for an additional structure should be put in place in terms of security gathering, particularly when we're talking about avoiding conflicts, just like you said? Because if you're giving a traditional ruler a clear role on how to prevent clashes and all of that, you wouldn't be talking about structures that have to see him having some form of security apparatus of the sort. What structures would you see in place if that is to come to bear?
In our society, when I was growing up, we had community watch. If you enter my village, within 2 hours, people will know that there is a stranger in the village. There were no structures. It's building internal confidence. I think the question you are supposed to ask first is, what is the authority of the traditional institution in the communities? Because today you see people, their authority is being questioned. Before they were looked at sacred gods, whose authorities we are fighting. But because as I said, we have mixed politics with everything. It's not really about, I'm not looking at creating another arm of government, another structure of government. No. I'm looking at giving people response. He's a traditional ruler. He's also a ruler over who? Over people. So what we should be talking about, what is your authority over those people? Because see, once you get the community right, you get the states right, you get the federal government right. You know, one of the things we miss, like in this fight against corruption, a child who was stealing pencil when he was in primary or secondary school and started stealing 100 naira when he was in the university would definitely steal billion.
He gets to go.
If as funds are available to you You increase your capacity because you are being emboldened with every stealing. No, but so these things there are things that if you build confidence, I had a community. If you enter my community within 2 hours, we identify. So we know whether you're on errand, whether you have a relative there, whether you are visiting or you have no mission. So what has happened? The local government reform came in 1976. I'm telling you about 80s and 90s. After the local government reform. So it's not something that happened before the local government reform. So we should ask, what has happened? Why are now, you saw the politics with the Emir of Kano, between Jonathan and Kwankwaso. That's what is killing the traditional institution that is supposed to be guiding our consciences. So, and that's why I said, we need to sit down and talk. It's not about structure. We already have the structure. You don't need anybody to tell you this is your mother and your father. In the same manner, you don't need anybody to point that this is your... But there is a way somebody comes, he doesn't have your confidence. Now, you even have traditional institutions. If you go to the southeast, during the kidnapping time in the southeast, most of the victims were kept in traditional rulers' house. So how do you expect those people to make peace?
Well, in this matter, is it about going back to, the formative days of Nigeria, strange bedfellows that were put together to make this country, and the issue of suspicion and where leadership has failed, that has, expanded or making it so wide, the issue of conflicts that we're looking at in Nigeria today?
I think it has nothing to do with strange bedfellows. For instance,
are we not still suspicious of each other?
For God's sake, we are 56 years. We'll soon be 57. Why are we still talking about strange bedfellows? When our forefathers, the Azikiwes, the Tafawa Balewas, the Ahmadu Bellos, the Awolowos, did not sit as strange bedfellows. They complained, came together and built a nation. Now handed over to us now, we are not talking about strange bedfellows. Something must be wrong with our heads.
Our religions, where we come from and all of that.
The religion, did it start yesterday? Was Nnamdi Azikiwe and Ahmad Bello practicing the same religion? Did they ever come in between their jobs?
So what has made this thing so much so that
failure in governance. See, let me tell you, the ethnicity, the religion, all these cultural sentiments are brought in for division so that people cannot revolt and ask for good governance and accountability. It's an allied game. Without it, people will revolt and come to their face. If me and you, we are chasing, let's say we are chasing my governor, for instance, in the southeast. It only takes a governor to come here and tell me, nah, you remember that guy that is not from there. It's a northern agenda that he's pursuing. And that will automatically put division between us. So it's an allied game. It's a political game. It has nothing to do with... When people talk about our fault lines, no. There is no nation without... Today you have Chinese. You have Chinese and Indians in US, answering US citizens. Nobody questions that. If you go to China, you have other tribes. The world has become a global village where anybody can go to any place and go and stay. I am not from Kaduna State, but I feel at home. If you tell me to go and stay in my state, I don't think I will feel as comfortable as I'm feeling here. So who's drawing the fault lines? It's just that the political class have built so much suspicion that we begin to suspect ourselves. They are united in their corruption. We are united in our poverty. A man in Port Harcourt is as poor as the man in Sokoto. The rich man in Sokoto is as rich as the rich man in Abia. So, but they know that if you leave them united, we cannot survive. So that's why they build their fault lines. It has nothing to do with... Our forefathers came, accepted the differences, and moved Nigeria forward. If you go and check the way they build their regional economy, we've not been able to achieve that. Even with our globalization, even with our technology, we've not done it. The GDP sometimes grew at as high as 15-16%. What are we having? Sometimes 1% with our technology, with all our senses, with our education. So there are a lot of things when people talk about, look at our educational system, for instance. Now you graduate illiterate and give them certificates. Was it like that? So you ask, when we got our independence, that's the question I like to answer. When we got our independence, were we right and ripe for independence? Did we learn anything? Because what our system functioned very well when we were under colonization. Immediately we got our independence, everything started breaking down up till today. So instead of pointing accusing finger on us, we need to really sit down and talk. It's only when you talk. And you know, the amazing thing about life is that the political class can enjoy it now that it's raining. They are getting everything that they want today. But nobody knows for how long that will last. So my prayer is that it doesn't get to a place. If we are now seeing politicians being stoned, being booed at, you don't know what the next stage will be. So that's early warning for them. But are they hitting it?
Okay, we'll talk about that when we come back on the next segment. Issues and events this morning, and we're looking at mass atrocities and consequences on our democracy. And we have Lawrence Obewe, political analyst, sharing thoughts with us this morning. Go for a break now. This morning, and we're looking at mass atrocities and consequences on our democracy. Lawrence Obewe, public affairs commentator, with us in the studios. Now, one of the parts that we should be looking at is entrenching our democracy. We are going on and moving on with it and sustaining it. Some people have said could be an uphill task if we do not take care of these issues of mass atrocities. Now, and again, violence in our elections, so much so that credibility has not been given to elections. So, in all of these, violence coming up from our elections too, is it another form of where, you know, mass atrocities can really show its fangs, so to say, and again destroy this democracy that we're building?
Absolutely. Imagine that there was crisis in Northeast, but they voted. Meanwhile, a small state like Rivers couldn't vote because of electoral violence. So that tells you the magnitude. We were battling Boko Haram. We voted without issues. But there was no election in Rivers. So if, I don't know what our politicians are thinking. We want to entrench democracy. Are they ready? That's the question. Are they ready to entrench democracy? Because you must leave your personal ego, you must leave your personal ambition and build democracy. Democracy outlasts every individual. There is no one man that has stayed on this earth, apart from the biblical men, for 300 years. There are democracies today that are more than 300 years. So you must make the sacrifice to entrench democracy, build as much as you can while you are there as a player, and then leave. But not this set of politicians.
Sacrifices must be made, right?
They must be made. Some of the things being enjoyed in the north, in the west, and in the south were built by our pioneer forefathers. They are not the ones enjoying it. They are not the ones enjoying it. They built democracy. I was opportune to stay with the first premier of Eastern Region when I was a kid, Michael Opara. As a child, I marveled at his intelligence at that point. Because don't forget that they were the early educationists. And if you look at all those Opara Zik, they were the ones that opposed the Biafra war. Because they knew it was not in the best interest of their people. If you look at the Asadwana, even though some of them were not alive at the time, none of them would have supported all these secessionists. What's bringing about poor governance? When people feel that we are not getting it, they want to be on their own. So everything is linked to the political class. The massacre, what caused it? The Niger Delta people felt that their oil were being taken and building Abuja and they were not getting anything. They decided to hold people hostage. There was invasion, they killed the soldier and Obasanjo retaliated. The same thing in Zaki and the Benue State. So the agitation for resource control will not be necessary if we have good governance. People are only telling you, pay attention to us. For me, that's what the agitation means. I don't take it seriously. I feel that it's people telling you, pay attention to us. We are lacking something. And these are early ones, they are signal. If they don't get it, if any day you give presidency to the East, even though erroneously, it doesn't translate to development in anywhere. We've had plenty from presidents from the north. It has not developed the north better than the west or the east. But in our psyche, we just want to. And it's still that game, that politician's game. It has to be a we. It has to be we. It doesn't benefit you. The literacy level still increases. The poverty indices are showing that nothing is happening. The maternal and child mortality are showing that there are danger signals everywhere. So they are all linked to poor governance.
Mr. Lawrence, like you said, the past leaders we had made sacrifices. Some of them died without leaving anything behind, aside good names. Do you think our present crop of leaders are making sacrifices?
They are not.
And why do you think they are not making sacrifices?
No, okay. You also need to look at how these leaders are groomed.
Okay.
In Nigeria, we've always had emergency presidents. From 1979. In fact, from 1960. Apart from 60 to 66, where we had Tafawa Balewa and Azikiwe. Every other one was either through a coup, which is an emergency anyway. Till this, even the present one, because we saw massive corruption, we were not interested. We wanted anybody there, as Shebu described it. He said, Shebu Adeni, he said, anybody that is not Jonathan.
Anybody but Jonathan.
So, if you see our model of building leaders, you understand why we are where we are. Is leadership taught in any institution in Nigeria? No. In America, from kindergarten, you are taught leadership. You are taught the value of America. So even you see a 10-year-old girl or boy, he or she would defend America better than even the president of Nigeria would defend Nigeria. So the modeling of the leadership is what the problem is, and that's why they are not ready. A politician, I was in one of your programs, is it last week or 2 weeks? When you see them accumulate so much wealth, is it security? As I said, my people built house for M.I. Okpara, the first premier of Eastern region, at old age. Why? Because of the sacrifice. All the economic indices in Southeast are attributable to him directly. Up to tomorrow, even though some of them have been wasted, some of them are now turned to estate and all that. My people gathered and said, no, we can't have this guy without a house. They built a mansion for him. But the politicians of today know that tomorrow, when they are no longer there, nobody will sacrifice his or her seat for them.
Mr. Lawrence, all this thing you talking about boils down to education.
Yes.
Where is the place of education in conflict management and resolution?
They say it's first in, first out. You get what you put. Off radio, I was telling you how our educational system works. In time past, you don't go to classroom to go and teach a child if you are not trained in child development and training. If you are not trained in guidance and counseling. If you are not trained in sociology or psychology. But who are our teachers today? They are job seekers. Some of them are engineers. Some of them are bankers. People who have no business in child development. Now, assuming you even have somebody who has a wrong ideology, that his ideology is that in future you should be able to stay and wipe out 50 people. You hire him because he's a graduate, him or her, and he goes and inculcates such beliefs into growing up children. So you are now wondering why you have mass killings everywhere. Our educational system is the key. We have lost our values completely. So we need to go back to the drawing board. Now we turn out educated illiterates. That's why you have graduates acting as thugs. If not, why will a politician who is an illiterate be guided by graduates? And they will go fight for him, they will go clear villages for him. So everything goes down to is what we are putting into our education that we are getting at. So we need to go back straight to the drawing board. And that's why I said home truth is the best truth. That you sit down and say, let's tell ourselves the honest truth. What I normally do in conflict resolution is that we have a lockdown agreement. We are not leaving this, we are not going to fight, but whatever you have against me, tell me. Whatever I have, I will tell you. But the agreement is that if we are leaving this room, we are all living as friends. So at the beginning, you see the place heated up, people will talk, but out of those things, you'll be able to make out sense, and at the end of the day, you live better.
And this is why I take you on, just before we get our lines open, that talking, dialoguing, we sit down and talk about ourselves, our differences, so that we can come to a resolution. We have had conferences, we have had reports coming out of conflicts that we've had. All sorts of committees have been set up, and nothing's been done to really say this is what has been resolved and this is the way to go. Why are we having that?
As much as I like the conferences, I think that is the best way for Nigeria. For instance, we are over 200 million. Well, 500 people, for instance, they are about 200 million. But have you ever imagined, if you say educational sector, go back and check why things are not working? You call the Nigerian police, go back, we want to make sure that we restore you back to the civilized police force. You carry the military, you take sectoral engagement, and people go and you say work on. What you get is, if you have 50 institutions like that, you can come out with 25 clean. But when we model everything together and go and sit at the round table, we end up not getting one. So you need to decentralize some of this dialogue and engagement if you want to get results. Because just one issue can kill. Nigeria is where you throw the baby with the bathroom, everything, you throw them away. But if you unbundle them, you go and do this, you go and do this, you see that you get to a sector where there are willingness for people to make a change. So if you do it sectorially, you take this sector, or you go and you go. If you do it like that, I'm sure you achieve more results. But if we continue like this, it's a time bomb waiting.
Program issues and events this morning, and we're looking at mass atrocities and consequences on our democracy. And Lawrence Obewe, public affairs commentator, with us this morning. Numbers to call on that.
All right, to be a part of the program, you can dial the following numbers: 0906-112-6906 and 0905-204-2752. Those are the numbers to call.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Sadiq, calling from Kaduna. Hello?
Sadiq, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm very thankful to the crop of guests you present to us this morning for being open with the truth. I also thank him for being very patriotic, and God will continue to bless him, because in this country, what we need is to be selfless in whatever we want to think or do or talk, that we all have the same purpose. We talk on the attitude of our politicians, and that has been our problem. Across board, what we have are not government, but group of people who come together to rule us, and they make money out of it with their family, home and abroad. They save our money right there and continue to tell us tomorrow. We don't change our attitude, giving them our money the way we have been doing. The only way they have been succeeding is when the election is coming, they pump money through their mediator, and then we see Maggie and all of that things going around. And after they won the election, they go back to make sure they recover their money. How long is it going to take them out of their business? Because they have bought us all together during campaign and so on and so forth. So it has been unfortunate. I would thank God that in the era of PDP, where there was an improvement than when we were in military era. And that is how it's going to be in an APC. That a new ideas and agenda like this are going to come up. And we are going to at least rationalize ways that all these things we are talking about will materialize. Not to discuss, to deceive ourselves, or discuss to pick in a good manner that will not yield positive results. So we are happy that
we got you on that. Still taking your calls. Issues and events this morning. And hello, good morning.
Good morning, Oloye. Wonderful gift.
Yes.
Yeah, this is from Mohammed Nadabo from Ghana.
Nadabo, let's say.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate your guest. I think he's a fine Nigerian as he has spoken. He has really spoken extensively and very well. we need people like him to be coming and educating us. For him to have been tutored by Mr. Opara, Mr. Opara of blessed memory, and I think he's still on that path. Because most of those people were for Nigeria and their region. But here, they are not in for their region or Nigeria, but for their family, even their family, within their immediate families, which is quite sad. And they only come to remind us that they are from southeast or southwest or northeast west when they want our vote. And unfortunately, the masses we are receiving it. I'm hoping, I'm believing that Nigeria of hello?
No, go on.
Okay. Yeah, I seriously want to believe that the Nigeria of our dream will be born, and in a very near future. With the way the current government is going, I think if we are to consolidate on that after this regime, had it been the previous administration, they've been following this path, even on the development, if you could check, like even the stiffness in the Niger Delta, it was caused by, if had it been 50% or 40-50% of what was meant in Niger Delta has gone in before now, the Niger Delta would have been taken of this stiffness. And all over Nigeria, like in the northeast, what is happening is the lack of.
Okay. What are their money? Alright. Still taking your calls. One more before we come back to the series. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and
Alright. I'm Donald calling from Kaduna.
Okay, Donald, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to ask your guest a question. Hello?
Go ahead, Donald.
Alright. I'm making a research right now, and I got to discover that our problem of Nigeria is these three major languages, the Hausa, the Igbo, and the Yoruba, because they have been the front burner of leadership over the years, and they have not bring anything to the table rather than what division. I will not see it's high time we look outside the three major languages and look at the minority. They can be at the front burner. Let's see what they can bring at the development of Nigeria. Because Nigeria is not made for only three languages. Are you seeing the possibility of achieving that? Because the way the system is structured, I don't see a minority becoming a president. So what do you have to say about that? It's high time we look outside of that. Because Yoruba has not bring anything to the development, either Hausa or Igbo. We have another language. Which is
Alright, okay, Donald, we got you on that. I'll still take one more call. Alright, and caller here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Abdulaziz. The person of your man and to your guest. This is Emmanuel from Kaduna.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Your guest has spoken. He has spoken already. He has spoken everything already. What I wanted to add into is this. It is high time Nigeria now to know that the leaders we have, they are together, whether PDP, APC. We'll take an example what happened in last some weeks ago. So it is now it is now for us now to check and see. I don't want to know which party the person belongs to. Who has the masses at heart? Who will take us to a place that the former will say, yes, this is the leader. But for these ones we have, honestly, they are just there for themselves. But when we get the person that has the masses at heart, want to do what the masses want, I think we will get there. So we should forget about sentiment. Let's get somebody that has the person at heart, whether it comes from the north or from the south or wherever it comes from. But if you have the masses at heart, I think we'll get to where we are going. Good morning, Ole.
We got you on that. Alright, we'll come back to our guest.
Okay, I love the minority question. I think the caller just forgot that our last president was from the minority region. So, and I'm not sure that the outcome of his tenure is something that anybody will want to applaud. So it's not a question of tribe. It's not a question of region or section. It's a question of patriotism. It's a question of learning. I think that most of our leaders are ignorant. They are ignorant because
or they choose to be ignorant.
No, I think sincerely they are. It's just an ignorant person is a dangerous person. So he's not ready to learn and he's not ready to accept that he doesn't know. So because I say it with confidence, because if you do well, You are in debt to your people. So there are gains in offering good governance. So it's when you don't know those gains, or when you have not sat down to discover those gains, that you feel that is by accumulating wealth, is by promoting crisis. We saw that in Plateau, for instance, a sitting governor at the time was promoting crisis. So I take it to be sheer ignorance. So it's not, my friend, it's not about where you come from. It's about what you know. Today we have, because of our systems, we have every manner of person wanting to be in leadership as long as you have the money. But it wasn't like that then. For instance, the richest man in Southeast then was Ojuku's father. But nobody ever heard that he was in politics. He was doing his business. Rather, he sent his children to school. And some of them decided that it was time for them. Ojuku was offered the best job in Nigeria. He said he wanted to be a military man. So it's not really about where you, it's about what you have. Leadership is supposed to come out of desire to help people, not out of desire to enrich yourself. What we have in Nigeria is where they use it as a security for the future. If you do leadership as a service, now even if you are in leader, the way our psyche is today, if you offer sincere leadership in position and you come out a poor people, even your parents will disown you. So that's to tell you there is a breakdown in our value system. When I was growing up, if you come to my place, if you leave my place and 2 weeks, 2 months, you come with money and cars, even your own parents will not enter your car until you tell them what the work you do. They will practically hand you over to the police if you are not able. So these mass killings and the genocide we are seeing around is where people are looking for how to safeguard their territory, because they are afraid of what will happen outside it. So they keep promoting. Unfortunately, most of our crises in Nigeria are political. It's where people are guarding their territory so they can do anything. You see how people, even for election, they can kill 50 people. Up to today, there is nobody that can give you the real number of people that died in River State. Nobody can tell you the real number of people that died in Edo, in Abia. Even the ones that you feel that people didn't die. I'm telling you, all across Nigeria, they kill people as if they kill chicken. That's the level to which we have deteriorated. And it's only when we sit down and look at the whole issues and look for how to, not for our sake, but for the sake of the coming generation. Because if we continue like this, as I said, the children that are coming, they will, from their laptops, they will be eliminating towns and villages in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. We don't come to that. Maybe by way of last question, Mr. Lawrence. We also, like you said, we lost our values. One of the major problems. Where is the place of alternative dispute resolution resolving this?
Yeah, I wanted to even add that in our schools today, in our primary, secondary, apart from do we even teach conflict? You know, in my study of conflict, I discovered that when two people are in conflict, they are not actually looking for exactly the same thing. For instance, the Fulani and the farmers. The Fulani man is looking for where his header will feed. The farmer is looking for, and two of them can actually stay in that same place. Okay, when I harvest my crop, I'll give you the chaff. You feed your farm, and everybody will be happy. But is there the solution? Is there analysis of the conflict to see exactly what each of them, see how you can put two of them together and make sure they stay?
All right, Lawrence Obewe, we're not going to end it off all here. I'm just going to say that we're going to take part 2 of this, where we talk about conflict management. That's what we'll do next time we invite you over.
No
Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Issues and events this morning, and we'll be looking at crisis. That's talking about conflicts all over the place and the consequences of these on our democracy. And Lawrence Obewe, Public Affairs Commentator, been sharing thoughts with us this morning. Abdulaziz?
So, it's Thursday. We are looking